Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Beaters, and if you're new to the channel, I am Oldhead Gaming, and happy Easter to all of those who observe. Now, of course, we are a mere 17 days away from the launch of the Game of the Year update. Now, that's going to be a really cool update for the game for multiple reasons. One, we're going to have the introduction of the game to Steam, a much preferred PC platform, which will get PC players much more excited about the game and bring a whole new group of players to the actual community. Win-win. We're also going to see Brock Williams coming, who is an upper echelon survivor, very requested, huge character, League Majors is playing him, good stuff. And by far the most requested demon, Ball, will be joining the game on the demon side, giving them their 5th demon, absolutely needed, as a brand new class, the Schemer class. Now, we also saw the launch of Ruby to kick off Season 2, who was by far the most requested survivor, and now that the real big fish are off the board, the metaphor, not the band,
I do. I understood that reference.
we can move forward and figure out who really needs to be next. Look at why Chet needs to be that person for 3 different reasons. The first one is we're going to talk about seasons. Season 1, we all saw, was 4 components, and you could get the Season 1 pass included with the Digital Deluxe Edition, which is what a lot of us did, and we've basically found out now that seasons are broken up in 4 pieces. And even though there wasn't a second season pass, because they apparently don't want to cut down the price, probably can't afford to, but they still need to get the content out, we know that it looks like it's right on cue. Like 2 months is about exactly when we should expect content. Let's take a look and say we're probably looking at Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, Ash vs. Evil Dead, and Evil Dead Rise is Season 2. That makes a lot of sense. Now, Brock was the character, not Chet, which makes sense in a way because you were trying to do that Who's Your Daddy update, which you can't really do with Chet. Chet's still lurking out there. If Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3 is the other part of the Season 2 of Evil Dead the game, I think we're probably going to see either Chet and Brandy or Chet and Coogie would make the most sense. On the other hand, I think it's really going to depend what happens with the anniversary. If we get like a demon with the anniversary or we get Chet with the anniversary, it shakes things up. Number 2, why I think Chet's a little bit late. If you're not familiar with what Ted's been up to, Ted did not only the mocap, but did the voice of his own character in The Quarry, which was a game released by Supermassive Games back in July of 2022. I'm sure that timing for getting Chet into the game was definitely crossing over. It was a huge release, really cool game from Supermassive Games, like a spiritual successor to the fantastic horror game Until Dawn. Now, if you didn't play it, Ted played the sheriff. He's throughout the whole thing. You're going to record multiple different things because there's sometimes when his character dies, there's sometimes when his character's alive. There's different variations of both, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. And all the characters from, David Arquette to Ted Raimi all did their own mocap for their characters. They also did their voices for their characters, and I'm sure it was very time-consuming, which kind of probably took it out almost to the very end, and probably set up a very huge time lapse, which is kind of something we probably saw with Lucy Lawless's Ruby as well, why she didn't just show up till now. And if you have those scheduling conflicts, there's always other characters you can drop. And I think that leaves the door open now for Ted to finally get his character into the game and set up some really cool things they can do. Once Chet's in the game, now that Ruby's already here, you can do some really cool stuff, including like a Hercules skin set, which would be great for a Halloween update. Like that would be the perfect thing for Halloween, is all those characters dress as their Halloween skins from Hercules. You would have like AOD Ash or Evil Dead 2 Ash as Autolycus, you'd have Chet as Joxer, and of course you'd have Ruby as Lucy Lawless as Xena, and that would be a really cool thing as well. I could see if they want to coincide that, dropping Chet a little bit later, maybe the end of Season 2, which would probably be right around September. Now, if they do drop in September, they're probably not going to do anything in October, or they could push back till the end of September, beginning of October to close out Season 2. It'd be a perfect place to drop Chet, as well as those Halloween skins. Now, the final reason I think Chet's probably coming to the game is they have gone on this very particular path of trying to make the most bang for their buck for Saber. Saber realized after Season 1 that maybe some of the chapters they sold undersold a little bit. I don't think that any of the chapters probably lived up to their expectations. 2013 Blacksmith. Like, those are characters that people like, but I don't think they sold like gangbusters and brought in the money they necessarily needed to keep producing content. And they decided to go with the Immortal Power Bundle with a heavy hitter in Ruby. They're going right back to that well with both Brock and Ball in the Game of the Year update. And at this point, you kind of have to go with heavy hitters instead of maybe some of the more niche characters like Blacksmith. And that makes Chet the apex predator at this point that you can go to. He's going to move a lot of units. Not a single person doesn't like Chet. Like, if you don't like Chet, you don't like the Evil Dead. I feel like Saber has kind of backed themselves in the corner that they have to get Chet out sooner rather than later. And the fact that they're so heavy into Ash versus the Evil Dead in Season 2, it makes complete sense that he would probably be one of, if not the last survivor from Ash versus Evil Dead. I don't think he shows up for Anniversary. It makes no sense for them financially to do so, but if they do, it's strictly as a marketing ploy to really generate a lot of interest on the Steam side. And if you see them dropping a big character like Chet for the Anniversary, it means the game is doing very well, and it's a very good sign for the Steam players to buy the Game of the Year edition. On the other hand, I think what we're most likely to see is Chet show up at either the part 3 of Season 2, near the end of June, beginning of July, right around the 4th maybe, or concluding the season on part 4, which would show up near the end of September, beginning of October. And that one seems very likely to me, especially if they decide to do Evil Dead Rise in the June-July version. Let me know what you think, though. Or you think we're going to see Chet in 2023? I think it's almost at this point a guaranteed, in my opinion, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. As always, thanks for watching, and later, mates.